Sacrifice for your future self by killing your old self. What is going on, everybody? It is your man, Tyler James. I'm back again with another video today, and I'm going to be talking about the sacrifices you have to make in order to actually become the best version of yourself, in order to see your true potential, right? And I'm speaking on this as someone who is going through this process, someone who is going through the sacrifices, and that is actually seeing the results from sacrificing certain things and letting go of certain things. And there's two ways you go about sacrifice, okay? The two things you do is you sacrifice your old self by killing the boy, and then you sacrifice right now for the future, okay? What you do is you sacrifice comfort in the present for security in the future. And an easy analogy, an easy example would be sacrificing money right now so you have more in the future, investing money right now so you have more in the future, which we will talk about, but I'm going to mainly be talking about things that you need to do in terms of internal things to actually get to where you want to go, things you need to let go of, and things you must sacrifice right now in order to truly reach your full potential. Without further ado, it is your man, Tyler James. Let's get straight into the video. We are going to start on what you need to sacrifice, or what you should be sacrificing right now in order to actually reach your full potential, and what you can do right now, the comfort you can give up right now so you have more security in the future, so you look back and your future self is proud of the decisions that you made when you were younger, right? You should always look at every decision, every choice, everything in your life as an example of return on investment, okay? So whatever you are investing, you are getting a return from. And anything in life, you can invest your energy, you can invest time, you can invest mental bandwidth, mental wherewithal, you can invest money, resources, energy, strength. You can invest so many different things, and every single thing you do is ultimately an investment, right? You might only think of investing as like putting money towards something, but every single thing is an investment, right? Energy, resources, time, these are all investments that you are making, even though you might not actually see a physical dollar sign, okay? So the very first thing you have to sacrifice, if you're a man and in your 20s or 30s or any really age at all, is sacrificing your time for health and fitness, okay? You got to sacrifice time to go to the gym. You have to sacrifice time to drive to the gym. You have to sacrifice time to eat healthy foods, to cook your meals. So sacrificing for health and fitness is one of the best decisions you can make, especially as a man or as any person. Okay? Woman, man, male, female, it doesn't matter, right? You have to sacrifice your time to focus on your health and fitness. This is the biggest thing I see with people, and their main excuse is that they do not have enough time. But that is the sacrifice. That is what you are giving up in order to get that return. And the return is tenfold, right? When you give your time for health and fitness, you have so many benefits that come back to you, right? Increased strength, increased confidence, increased physical attractiveness, less of a propensity to develop cancer and harmful diseases and things in your older age, being able to move in your older age, right? Just having a healthier and happier life, like just confidence and physical attractiveness. These are all things you get from investing your time into health and fitness. And that is the investment. The investment is time, right? When you go to the gym, you go for an hour and a half. You're not spending money to go to the gym. Maybe, you've got a gym membership or whatever, but you are investing your time. You are investing your energy. It is not something you see with a dollar sign, right? So understand that this is the sacrifice you are making to get back tenfold. And it's the best thing you can do in terms of return on investment, because you think about people at the end of their life, people with millions of dollars, people with, whatever they want, right? At the end of their life, what is the thing that they try to give in order to get back more of? They give money to get back more time, but if they gave their time in the first place, they would have more time at the end of their life, right? So it's very, very essential to sacrifice some of your time for health and fitness. And you don't have to be a crazy bodybuilder, someone who's in the gym every single day, right? It can just be 3 days a week, and that will make such a big difference on your cardiovascular health, your aerobic health, your overall confidence, literally everything, just 3 days a week, right? And obviously for me, I advocate for going 5 days a week and really pushing it in the gym and going hard. But again, it only needs to be 3 days a week and you just have a healthy lifestyle, okay? So that is the first sacrifice. You have to sacrifice time. Figure out things that are in your life that you are not getting any positive ROI, and invest that time instead of that into focusing on your health and fitness by going to the gym. The next thing that you must sacrifice is sacrificing your feelings, okay? Sacrificing your feelings And one that I'm going to add some specificity to here is your taste buds. Okay. This is one that is going to be very important for all you guys because diet really makes up 50 to 60% of literally every single thing you do. And the reason why diet makes up so much, because ultimately what you put in your body is what you are going to get out of, right? So your mood, energy, like brain fog, whether you have brain fog or you don't, mental clarity, these are all things that are physical strength. These are all things that come from the diet you are eating, right? Lower cortisol levels, increased testosterone. These are all things that are derived from the foods you are eating. So it's essential to eat the right foods and sacrifice your feelings and your taste buds for the result that you want to get. And ultimately, the feeling and the taste buds, the food that you eat, the taste of it, it always goes away. No matter what, after 5, 10 minutes after you digest the food, it's over with. Whether it was cookies, whether it was cake, whether it was the greatest tasting food ever, whether it was the worst thing ever you've ever eaten in your entire life, it goes away at a certain point. But what stays no matter what is the feeling, the energy, the mood, and the result you get from that food you ate. So it's very, very essential to, instead of thinking about, oh, my feelings, I don't want to eat this food, it's going to taste bad. Think about it like, hey, this might not taste good, but the result I get is going to last forever, right? That is always what I say to some of my clients is that when they complain about the food, that it's, boring or that it's, a lot, what I tell them is that the result always stays, right? The taste buds and the feeling and the taste goes away, but the result does not. So what do you want to do? Make your mind up on that, okay? So, and then another thing is just feelings in general. Operating off your feelings, especially as a man, is not a good idea. And the reason why you don't want to operate off your feelings because your feelings and your emotions are going to lead you down the wrong path, right? You don't think I'd feel like going out every single night, drinking, hooking up with girls? Like I would love to do that every single night, every single day. In college, that's what I like lived for. That's what I wanted to do was I wanted to go out, hook up with girls, right? Is that going to lead me to a good life, a fulfilling life, a happy life? No, right? If every single day I don't want to go to the gym and I listen to that feeling, is that going to lead me to physical strength, physical attractiveness, confidence? No. If every single day I want to bust a nut and watch porn, right? That feeling is not going to lead me anywhere. So try to start separating yourself from your feelings and doing the right thing, right? There are going to be times when maybe your feelings are valid and your excuses are valid, but at the end of the day, they're just feelings and excuses that are not leading you to the goal that you want to achieve in life or not getting you anywhere you want to achieve. Okay. So, very, very essential to watch out for your feelings and do not operate off that. The number three and third thing is going to be sacrificing money. Okay. And this is what I mean by sacrificing money, right? A lot of people, when they look at sacrificing money, they think, investing money, assets, material things, right? Putting it into a stock, putting it into a 401k, putting it into a Roth IRA. And yes, that is important, but there's two things you can do with your money and in terms of investing, right? And you got to have some money coming in the first place. No matter what stage you're at in life as a man, you should have some money coming in because it's ultimately our job to provide and to protect, right? As the male species, that is what we are on earth to do, to provide and to protect. So, first thing you got to do is you got to have some money coming in. You got to have some type of job, some type of business, some type of income, something, right? If you're just sitting on the couch, you're not working, not doing anything, you really don't have that much of a purpose in life. So it starts with having some money coming in, okay? So having some income coming in, and then what you do with that income is you invest it, okay? Obviously, you're going to invest it into something like an apartment, a place to live, a place to sleep, food, rent. All these different things are things you are investing your money in that are things that are necessary, right? Just to keep the lights on, things that are necessary. So after you get out of the survival mode and things that are necessary and you have some money left over, which I hope you would, and you're not overspending on just surviving, what you have left with is leftover money that you can do two different things, or you should do two different things with. You invest that money into you or assets, okay? These are the two things that you should be putting your money into, right? Material things like clothes, cars, watches, if you have the money to spend on it, it's whatever, you can do it. But the first thing you should do is you should focus on investing that money into yourself or into an asset that is going to have a return on investment. Like I said earlier, return on investment is basically you putting in something and then down the road, down the line, getting something out of it. So a lot of people think about that traditionally investing, but a big part people don't talk about is investing in yourself, okay? And what I mean by investing in yourself is spending money to build a skill, spending money on a mentor, spending money on reading a book, a new book, spending money on camera equipment, a better microphone setup. For me, what I've recently have invested into is better microphone equipment. I invested into this microphone. I got a new phone. I'm investing into things that are actually going to help me. That's where I'm spending my money. That is a sacrifice I'm making. I'm sacrificing money to have an investment into myself, right? I've spent money on a mentor. These are all things you can do, right? You can spend money to gain the skills, to acquire the knowledge, to get the information, and to get to where you want to go faster and also more efficiently and better. Okay, so, and don't be afraid to invest some money into yourself. What you should be afraid of is investing money into clothes, into things that are ultimately just gonna go away, right? They're not gonna give you anything back. They're just an empty cost. Like investing your money into a Netflix subscription, empty cost. Investing your money into YouTube TV to watch sports, an empty cost. Like investing your money into alcohol, right? Investing your money into drugs, into weed, empty costs that provide you no return on investment, and you're wasting your time and you're worsening your life by doing all those things. So much better to spend that money. If you have $50, right? And you have two choices. You can spend that $50 going out and drinking with your friends, or you can spend that $50 on a book, a course, a resource that's actually going to improve you. You should always pick the thing that's going to improve you and that is going to give you a return on your investment. Okay. And the next thing is going to be assets. This is what I mean by traditional things like a Roth IRA, a 401k, crypto, whatever it is, right? It's always good and always a smart idea to put some money aside. As boring and as basic as that sound, your future self will thank you when it has money in the bank, when maybe something comes up that wasn't expected, or maybe you want to buy something and there's a big life event, or whatever the case may be, right? If you have some money left over, you have some money saved up and you've been investing and you've been putting forth into something, your future self will thank you. So right now, invest into yourself and then invest assets to improve your life and for your future self to come back and say thank you to you. Okay. So time, feelings, money are the top three things. And number four is going to be, you guessed it, women. Okay. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with women. And I'm not saying you should live your life entirely celibate and never talk to women and never approach a woman. And there is nothing wrong with going up to a girl you find attractive and starting a conversation with her and just seeing where it goes, right? There's nothing wrong with that at all. And anybody who's told you there's something wrong or there's something weird about that, there's something wrong and something weird about them. It's a natural thing. It's okay. But when you're early on in life, this can be one of the biggest distractions is women. And a lot of them are going to be a distraction, right? You have to have some discernment when it comes to women. That's the word we're going to use today is discernment, because a lot of women, especially nowadays, are just no good. And I don't want to say no good because, all humans, we have an internal essence and we're all connected and we're all one and the same. But a lot of women on the external, that is all they care about. That is all they focus on. They only focus on the external instead of the internal, right? You got to have some level of discernment. Just because a girl is pretty and attractive and, she wears lip gloss and she looks decent, that doesn't mean she's going to be good for you. That doesn't mean she's going to actually nurture you and be someone that you should pick as your lifelong partner. A lot of people and a lot of men especially mess this up. They don't have any level of discernment, and whatever, the world gives to them, they just take it and they don't actually get what they truly need, right? And just have some more discernment when it comes to women, okay? It's okay to approach them. It's okay to go on dates and do all these things. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And you should be building yourself up so you can actually attract a good woman, but you got to have some discernment. Some of these women out here nowadays are no good for you, and they are sharks, right? They are sharks, G, and they're just trying to take your money, take your time, take your resources, and take you for what you have, right? And they won't give a fuck about it. So be careful with some of the women you are operating with. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've, gotten a girl's number, I've hung out with a girl, I've done X, Y, or Z with a girl, and then I just look back on it and realize that girl was really no good for me. That girl wasted my time, wasted my energy, wasted my money. And I should have just seen that from the start. And I was thinking, not with my head, not with my logical head, but this head down here. So be more discerning. It is okay to sacrifice some pussy for your well-being. Okay, it is okay to sacrifice that, and you have to become discerning with the women you choose, right? And ultimately, women do choose the men, and men have to, put themselves in the situation to do that. But also, you have to be careful with some of these women. Some of them are no good for you, okay? There's plenty of good women out here, but some of them are not good for you. And especially nowadays with social media, that is a lot what women care about is material things, external things, and that's what you have to look out for. So some discernment around women and sacrificing the women that are no good for you. Right, so we talked about all the things you got to do to sacrifice right now for security in the future. Sacrificing your time, sacrificing your money, sacrificing some of these girls that are no good for you, and sacrificing some of your feelings in order for your future self to actually prosper, to actually reap what you sow. Now, the next aspect of sacrificing for your future self is killing your old self, killing the little boy that is still inside of you, killing the childish version of yourself. And this is a process that is not easy. This is a process that takes time, right? When you're developing into a whole new person and developing a new identity, it is very, very hard. And it's something you have to be patient with. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to mess up here and there. We are human beings at the end of the day. And even though God created us in our image, we always are still going to sin. We're always still going to mess up. We're always going to miss the mark because that is just part of being human, right? But mainly, what this sinning comes out of, and what these boyish things come out of is really unconsciousness. And it's really you not recognizing the thought patterns and the ego patterns that you've had and not disidentifying from them and not moving on from them, right? A lot of men are out here still doing childish shit all the time. And that is the reason why, girls see guys and they see them as immature and all these different things, even though whatever. But let me put it this way. When I feel my most masculine, when I feel like my most masculine self, my best version of myself, it is when I am killing the boy and I'm not doing the childish shit. It is when I am focused and on my mission and on my purpose and I'm disciplined, right? That is when I feel the most masculine version of myself. That is when I feel like I can really accomplish so many things. And that is what I want that feeling to be like for you guys. Now, I'm still a young man. I'm only 24, so I'm not going to say, I'm fully in my prime and I'm a man and I'm all this stuff, right? I'm still learning and I'm still growing every single day. But a big part of when I do feel my most masculine, when I do feel that sense of purpose and direction, is when I actually am killing the boy and I'm not doing any of the dumb shit anymore. So the first thing you got to stop doing when it comes to killing the boy is you got to stop with the drinking, the drugs, and the alcohol. These are all things that are going to keep you in that boyish realm, okay? And the reason why is because when you are younger, you kind of experience and you kind of mess around with these things, right? You mess around with weed, you try out weed, you experiment with certain drugs, you experiment with drinking, and maybe you've just been a goody two shoes your whole life, and that is good for you, and you've never done any of that stuff. So this might not even be a point for you to need to go over with, right? But for a lot of us, a lot of guys are still doing these things. They're still drinking, smoking weed, taking drugs, and doing all these things that are just not giving them any return on investment. They are empty things. We talked about empty things earlier. A lot of the stuff you spend money on are empty things, and these things right here are empty things because they give you no return on your investment. What does drinking really get you? Nothing. Gets you a hangover, wasted time. Maybe you have a good time with your friends, right? But you can have a good time with your friends without drinking, right? Without having to be hungover the next day, without making dumb decisions, right? Smoking weed. What does smoking weed get you? Minus $40, and the next day your head hurts and you stayed up too late and you just wasted your time and you just did nothing productive, right? Taking drugs. What does that get you? Again, minus $40 and no return on your investment, right? These might feel like good things in the moment and good experiences in the moment, but as you get older, you start to understand that these things are not the answer. These are not going to make you more fulfilled. These are not going to solve your problems. And these are actually things that are going to not help you. They're going to destroy you as a man. And a lot of people, they comment on my Instagram, they comment on my YouTube, and they say, oh, just have fun, live a little, right? You can live a little and have fun without doing any of these things. I do it every single day. I have fun in the gym. I have fun when I'm out and about with my friends. I have fun, in the park. I do different things that don't require me to be drunk, smoking weed and taking drugs. I'll still go out to a bar with my friends here and there just to catch up, just to see them. And I don't drink, I don't do any of that stuff, and we still have a good time. And then I wake up the next day and I'm working. Okay? So these are the things you gotta cut out, right? Next thing you gotta cut out: video games and porn. Okay? These are gonna be huge for me. And I really cut out video games probably in the middle of college. I just started to realize, what is the point of me playing this video game, right? I am acting like I'm doing something, but I'm not. And it is just, again, an empty investment. Stop with these empty investments that aren't getting you anywhere. Unless you're a streamer, unless you're trying to make money, unless you're a top 50 gamer in whatever game you're in, right? You are wasting your time. You're not getting anything from playing video games. You're probably staying up too late, and then you're probably doing a bunch of other shit wrong, because I was doing a bunch of other shit wrong when I was playing video games, okay? Video games are just, again, an empty thing that isn't going to do anything for you, right? Unless you are making money from it, you're streaming, or you're a top 50 gamer and you're about to start making money. What is the point of playing video games? None. And I remember when I used to play video games, my mom would take my Xbox and I would freak out and I would get so angry. So angry. And looking back on that, that was the most childish and dumb shit ever. For a video game, I would get angry over. It's going to be, the C is actually a P, okay? You know what this thing is, and this thing will lower your vibrational frequency, give you so many feelings of guilt, give you so many feelings of shame. And this is, if you don't take anything away from this video, take this one thing away. This is evil. This is from the devil. This is the worst thing you could possibly do with your entire life. This is worse than drinking, weed, drugs. In my opinion, this thing is the worst thing you can do as a man. Right? There are I don't even need to get into the reasons as to why it's bad. You know it's terrible. And it brings about the devil. It is literally from the devil. This is the thing that you need to cut out of everything. I don't care if you keep drinking, taking drugs, smoking weed, doing all that shit. Stop this. This one is the worst, and this is straight Satanism. Okay? Get this out of your life. I shouldn't have to explain this or say this anymore. Whenever I've watched this in the past and whenever I've done this in the past, there would just be so many feelings of guilt, of shame, brain fog. I would feel like such a loser and just not a man, emasculated, okay? This one, get it out of your life. I don't care if you still jack off, but you're looking at girls or looking at models, but you're not watching porn. Stop this one immediately. This is going to ruin your life. And you do not want to be dealing with this when you're in your 30s, when you're in your 40s, right? This is always going to limit your potential and always make you feel like half of the man that you actually are. Cut this one out now. Third one is going to be scrolling social media, okay? This one is a big one because I feel like this is something that a lot of teenagers and a lot of young guys do. They get on there and then they just scroll all day. They scroll their life away. Do not be someone who scrolls their life away. Stop watching other people and start living for yourself. Scrolling is never going to get you anywhere. What is scrolling going to do? What the fuck are you doing with your life? Stop that shit now. Scrolling is not getting you anywhere, okay? And when you do all of these activities, okay? All of these activities, drinking, weed, drugs, video games, corn, scrolling social media, they are all something that is called unconscious, right? They are mindless activities. And unconsciousness ultimately brings about all suffering in life. Every single piece and you always hear people say life is suffering, life is a struggle, life is a burden, and it comes from unconscious acts. It comes from unconscious things. And these things right here, all of these right here are unconscious acts, okay? So everything that you're doing, that's all of these, you are actually falling below thought, right? Instead of rising above thought, instead of disidentifying from your mind and being, sober and like being in your enlightened state, right? Enlightened state comes from disidentifying from your mind and comes from you actually not having many thoughts, but just acting and living and doing, right? And experience everything and being the awareness that sees your thoughts, right? You are on a higher vibrational frequency than thought when you are seeing all your thoughts. Okay, I know it's a lot, but unconsciousness comes from going below thought, right? Drinking, weed, drugs, video games, corn, social media, these are all things that cause you to go below thought and are unconscious things because when you are doing this, there's no thoughts that go in your brain. You're not thinking about anything. You're just, where's the next video? Next video, right? You are just trying to satisfy your dopamine. And this is unconsciousness, and this leads about to all suffering in life. So, killing a boy really comes from killing that unconsciousness version of yourself. And when you start to stop doing these things, you can actually start to see what your mind is thinking, see what your mind is thinking about, and understand that a lot of it is just old egoic thought patterns that you need to get rid of that are still this little boy in your mind. Okay. So, again, scrolling social media is going to be something you do that is unconscious, that falls below thought, and ultimately leads to suffering. So, one of the biggest things to get rid of scrolling social media. What is the point? Where are you trying to get to? What are you trying to watch? What are you doing? Right? You're just wasting your time and you're just probably bored. Okay. Number 4, again, is going to be chasing women. And let me add a little caveat here. Chasing women who don't respect you. Right? If a woman respected you, she would answer your text. If a woman respected you, she would give you time on the street. She would give you time of day. I put respected. If a woman truly respected you and actually liked you and wanted to talk to you, she would answer your text. If a woman truly respected you, she would give you time of day on the street. If a woman respected you, when you went up to her in the club, she would actually have a conversation with you, right? And a lot of you guys are chasing women who don't respect you and also who don't even know you, right? You guys, and chasing women doesn't have to be like a thing where it's like, oh, you're talking to her every day and you keep pursuing her and you keep pursuing her. This could be something that is just like a mental fantasy that is running in your brain. You just have this fantasy over this girl. She has no idea you exist. You think about her all the time. She has no idea you like her, no idea you even exist, and you've never spoken to her. And it might be a girl from Instagram. It might be a girl who you're never going to see in your real life ever. And you have this mental fantasy and mental projection. That is another version of chasing women, right? There's nothing wrong with approaching women, having a conversation with the woman, telling a woman you find her attractive and you'd like to get to know her or take her on a date. Nothing wrong with that. What does come into play and what is wrong is when you start to chase women who don't respect you, right? Sending that double, sending that triple text. Never going to work. Anytime I've ever sent a double or triple text, has it ever worked? Ask yourself that. Has that ever worked? For me, the answer is no. In my past, I would always, if I really, really, really liked a girl and I really thought she was hot, I would double text her. If she didn't answer, I'd be like, fuck, I fucked up. Let me double text her. Not getting me anywhere, right? Just leave it be. If she doesn't like you, she doesn't like you. If she doesn't respond to your text, she doesn't respond to your text. It is what it is. Just move on, bro. Get better. Don't get bitter, get better, okay? And when you chase these women who don't respect you, you lower your frequency, right? That is what you are doing. So instead of chasing women who don't respect you, move on. Let it go. And find someone who does respect you. You just might not be her type or it might not be a good time. There's so many different factors that come into play when it comes to with women and they don't even know what they want half the time. So a lot of the time just move on. It's all right, bro. There's other women out there. There's an abundance of women out there. And the thing with women you don't know or who don't know you, let them go either. You shouldn't be following these girls on Instagram who don't follow you back. That is another version of a girl not respecting you, right? If you follow her and she doesn't follow you back and you message her and you do all this shit, bro, she doesn't respect you. She didn't even follow you back. Like, let it go. Move on. Okay? It's okay that a girl doesn't like you. It happens. It's part of life. Rejection is a part of life. But constantly chasing them and pursuing them when they don't respect you or don't even like you, that is what's wrong and that's what kills. That is what is still the boy that is on inside of you, right? There's nothing wrong with approaching women, but chasing women who don't respect you, That is the problem. Okay. So that's another thing you should cut out, to sacrifice for your future self, right? I know I spoke a lot and I know I gave you guys a lot of information, but trust me, a lot of this stuff are things that I still struggle with, things that I'm still going through. And I know when I feel my best version of myself and I'm my most masculine self, I am doing all these things and I'm cutting out all of these things. Okay. So, wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight and a little bit of game into that. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the video below, and I will see you guys on the next one. It is your man, Tyler James. Peace.